So now the last 3 steps of this, number 6, 7, and 8, they kind of dance together. Not kind of, they do. They dance together. 6 is learning to let go of distracting thoughts. Step 7 is introspection. And step 8 is developing the capacity to witness the thoughts. I'll try to talk about them in a sense as one thing. There's 3, but they dance together. If we have a time and place, and we're sitting and we're doing that, and we're sitting down for that, and if we've at least somewhat begun to learn the process of internal dialogue, including being a friend with my mind. Mind, will you be my friend? Mind, will you please flow with the breath? And I've succeeded in having a steady, reasonably steady, comfortable posture. And I've made my breathing serene and calm. And I can allow it to be 2 to 1. And the mind starts to get calm. And if I have a little bit of that determination, just enough to be aware that in fact these disturbances need not happen, I have a little bit of determination. If I've done that, then I can practice letting go of a thought. The principle, what he actually, he's only got 2 little short paragraphs that he talks in here about letting go. This letting go of a thought, it's something that comes from practice. So it doesn't really take a lot of words. It takes a lot of practice. This is me speaking, this is a metaphor that I use of this. I imagine a ticket taker at a theater. And in my fantasy of this, it's a really classy theater. You know, one of those with balconies and it's live play and all that sort of thing, and everybody's in tuxedos and fancy clothes and like that. And so in my fantasy of this, the ticket taker is a guy standing there with a nice tuxedo on, and he's looking and he's taking the tickets of the people going in. So here's a line of people. Does he take the ticket and say, "Give me your ticket, now get out of the way. Give me your ticket and now get out of the way"? No. What does he do? "Good evening, madam." Takes the ticket, tears it off, gives you a part. "Enjoy the show. Next." And does this again. And so the invitation that ticket taker does in that classy place is says, "Next. Next. Next." Doesn't push anybody along. And the line keeps coming. And at the moment that he says, "Good evening, madam," and takes your ticket, what do? He allows you to simply go on. He lets you go. He doesn't stop you and have a long conversation about how the family's doing and have you solved that problem on your job and all these kinds. He doesn't do that. It's the art of letting go. To let something go, you have to let it come. You can't let it go if you haven't let it come. If we're still living back in that mistaken stance of the beginning meditator that says, how do I get rid of thoughts? If we're still clinging to that, there's, in my opinion, virtually no possibility of letting go of thoughts. We have to have done the dialogue. We have to have done the preparation work. If we haven't done the preparation, we cannot do this letting go business. Somebody says, "Well, how do I get rid of my thoughts?" And some well-intentioned person says, "Oh, just let them go. Just let them go." But we never stop long enough to figure out how that works. And a part of this is to simply run your own meditation experiments and to sit quietly after you've got a steady posture, time and place, done a little bit of internal dialogue, got the breathing smooth and calm and serene, and sit there and be like the ticket taker and just say, "Next, next. And you allow some person to come into your mind field. If you're doing this well, you don't have to do anything to get rid of that person. The attitude says, next. And the next thing you know, a memory of some place you were at 20 years ago comes into your mind. Doesn't matter why, you don't have to explore it, and it goes away. And you say, next. And the project you have to finish tomorrow comes to mind. May have a little coloring, a little worry comes with it, but you have the determination, so you say, next. And where does it go? Swamiji says, if not here, in one of the other places, he says, thoughts are people. And just like people, they're born, but they die. And if we allow them to go, they will simply go. It's in their nature to go. But what usually happens is we grab onto them. Ooh, here comes a nice juicy thought memory. And we're caught in it. That's not letting go. You do like the ticket taker. Next. Literally inviting the next thought to come. And this can be done as a practice. It can be done just as a personal experiment. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to learn the art of letting go. I've done some of this internal dialogue. I'm sitting here. I'm at my time and place. If I'm in the ashram and I'm doing 4 meditation times a day, it's time. I see it there. It's on my watch. It's on the clock on the wall. I'm walking into the meditation room. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to do my preparation practices, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to practice letting go. How am I going to do that? The first thing I have to do is practice letting come. And from that, I can learn the art of letting go. Come thoughts. Next, come. Person, enemy, doesn't matter. Best friend, person I just walked by walking down the ghat. There was something about them, their image struck me, come, and I practicing letting go. This letting go is a skill unto itself. In this sequence we're looking at here, it's a separate step. It's number 6. And if you look at the internal dialogue one, and that looks like, gee, I'm not accustomed to doing that, then don't look at letting go step number 6 and think that that's something familiar, because it's not. In all likelihood, Swamiji has pointed this out many times, nobody has ever taught us how to do any of this stuff. Not in our families, not in our schools, nowhere. And so it's an art, it's a skill unto itself that we really, really want to understand and we want to cultivate. Who else ever told you to eliminate the pause between your breaths? Nobody ever taught us how to do that, did they? Do you think about it? Anybody ever tell you how to do that? So we have to practice it. How do you practice letting there be no pause between the breaths? Observe the fact that you are pausing. You know, oops, I just held my breath. I just stopped breathing. After you practice a little while, you see other people doing it all the time. Completely blind, not aware at all. You watch people hold their breath. And if you see it in others, look at it in yourself. And by seeing that you paused your breath, you can practice not pausing your breath. This is the same thing. How do you practice letting go? Practice letting it come so that you can intentionally allow the next one to come. And the last one just naturally falls away very easily. But if we don't practice this as a skill unto itself, it's not likely we're going to be able to do it.
Isn't it different than some people think that they have to use mantra to beat up the thoughts?
Yeah, mantra is very useful, but mantra is not a club. It's a common mistake. I'm going to get rid of my thoughts by battering it away with my mantra club. And that's not it. That's not. This is a skill unto itself. And it's something that we want to cultivate, that says, I want to know how to let go of a thought. I want to have that skill myself. I want to know how to do that. And have it not just be a statement out of a philosophy book or something like that. I'm sitting here taking a mantra or something and I'm clubbing them away, beating away the thoughts. And over here I'm saying that I'm letting them go. 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 This is called attachment. There's two kinds of attachment. This kind of attachment and this kind of attachment. They're both attachment. One's attraction, one's aversion. I'm letting go of my thoughts. I'm letting go of my thoughts. I'm letting go of my thoughts. No, I'm not. Huh? I'm actually more involved. I'm really hooked in. If I think I'm letting them go, I'm letting them go. I'm not. I'm pushing them away. I'm pushing them away. Either just because I'm pushing away because I want them to go away, or because I'm saying Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. On and on and on. And so, good point, yes. But it's a skill unto itself. In this sequence that Swamiji is talking about, it's number 6. It's a standalone. It's something that we want to practice. And like I say, he doesn't say a lot about it. There's not great depth. And if you think about this, listen to what we're trying to say here. It's a skill. And I understand you could probably write books about it, but you finally, when all is said and done, you have to practice it. And how do you practice letting go? You have to practice letting come. Let it come. Next. Friend comes, enemy comes, person comes. I could do like this. What if I say to you, think of a fruit? Some fruit comes to mind. What if I say to you, think of a person you know? Person comes to mind. Think of a year in your life, one of the best years of your life. What was the number of that year? Think of a building that you've been in recently. And your mind can do that. Each time I say that, mind brings something forward. How did you get rid of the previous one? You didn't. If you run that experiment that way, you did absolutely nothing to get rid of the previous thought. And that's the art of letting go. Paradoxically, it's doing nothing. The art of letting go is the art of doing nothing with it.